There's only so much you can do as a DP from seeing location photos. So the next step in pre-production, I strongly recommend you get yourself on a scout with the director and other department heads. There are also two types of scouts. First, a location scout. This often involves visiting multiple locations with the intention of narrowing it down and choosing one. For example, you would sort of design a whole day if you were looking for a gym to visit like 5 or 6 gyms in one day. This would be the location scout. This typically is just a director and a producer. And then once they've narrowed and locked down this location, that's when the rest of the crew would be invited. The next kind of scout is a tech scout. And this is once the location has been locked, all the department heads, director, DP, gaffer, key grip, art department, first AD, producer, they're all invited to see the location that we're going to be shooting at. Tech scouts are great because up until this point, you've only really read the material, seen references. This is your first time to get to, apply everything that you've been thinking about to the actual set. Usually the director had a hand in selecting the location. So my first conversations on tech scouts are with the director, and I love to sort of map out what they had in mind. They will sort of show you maybe where certain scenes would look good, and obviously as a DP, you can offer your input as well. Most department heads on your project should be at the tech scout as well. Take this time to talk to the production designer. I find that this relationship is really important between a DP and a production designer because they are essentially building the set that you're going to be photographing. So the questions I usually always like to ask are about windows and lamps, because those are two sort of sources of light that I often like to use as a DP. So when it comes to windows, I'll usually ask if they plan to put sheer curtains, and on lamps, I'll ask if they plan on putting lamps in the frame. Your gaffer and key grip in most instances will be at the tech scout. I find this is very helpful because they have a laundry list of things that they're looking for, and if they're on the scout looking for those things, it frees me up to sort of focus on the creative and walk through things with the director. But what I will run through with the gaffer and key grip are at least the setups, where the camera's gonna be, what sort of lighting I had in mind, and then they can basically pivot and make sure that we have the right gear to light that scene. I've also been on scouts where the gaffer and key grip are not there. So in those instances as a DP, you have to work twice as hard on the scout. When that is the case, here are the things I look for. One of the first things I'll always reference is a sun chart. There are a few on the App Store. One of the ones I use the most is called Sunseeker. This will allow you to see when and where the sun will rise and set. For me, this is a game changer because I can make sure to be shooting in certain spaces when the light is right. I've been on shoots where, the sun between 3 and 4 was just gonna come through a window. I wouldn't have known that had I not had the app to sort of show me where the sun was. So you can actually work with your AD and plan your day around knowing where the sun's gonna be.
Yeah, I think just anecdotally going off the Tatiana video that we did, it was a lower budget music video, but the space we were using was an apartment on the second level with some really cool light windows that would let in a lot of natural light, and we actually used that for the majority of the video as kind of our main source of light, was knowing where the sun was going to pass, and that we would shoot that scene at a particular time because we knew the sun would be coming through those windows and act as our key. So it's important, to going to location scouts or tech scouts, see the location, kind of know where the sun and light is going to be, or the best places for you to place lights, what kind of lights you'll need to rent. And so just using pre-production to map out your lighting techniques, your lighting setups, and just knowing what gear you're gonna rent and use, I think is all super important stuff.
The second thing I always like to look for is power. Where is the power coming from? Is it coming from a household outlet or from a generator? Knowing this has a trickle-down effect on the kind of gear you'll be renting. The third thing I always check are the general location limitations. For instance, does the location allow for a hazer? Are we shooting on the second floor? Where is a good place to stage gear? These are the kind of questions I like to have answers to, because when you're, shooting on the day and you've only got an hour in the morning to get everything all figured out, you want to be focusing on everything else. You don't want to be worrying about all these little details on where to park the grip truck, where to stage gear. You want to have all of these things checked off.